everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today is a special video because we are taking part in a huge, massive blog hop with the hashtag spread joy, not germs. Very sound advice indeed. Hosted by Catherine Pula and the Hedgehog Hollow. However, there are loads and loads of sponsors and prizes up for grabs, and this is I might have mentioned massive hop. I think at the time of recording, there were at least 150 bloggers signed up for this hop. So there's going to be a huge amount of inspiration, an incredible amount of awe-inspiring projects. And yeah, this is just the perfect thing to occupy yourself with if you're feeling a little bit cooped up and, going a bit batty at home. Right. This card, I am, of course, going for my standard rainbow background. I do love myself a rainbow, just in case you weren't familiar with my work. I have used an array of Catherine Pooler inks here to create the background. And I have a different life-changing blender brush from Picket Fence Studios for each color. And although this is sped up quite a lot, I do take my time with the ink blending and go back and forth between the colors to smooth out the blend and get very, very even coverage. So we're gonna, keep watching this for a little bit because there's a lot of blending. And I have two cards for you today to, spread a bit of joy and not germs. The cards today are done with the same colors and same stencil and same stamp set and die cut. And I've used the same, like I said, I've used the same products, but I've made a bit of a yin and yang card, or cards even. So one is super, super colorful and will have white heat embossing on it. The other one will be not quite the opposite, but it will be ink blended with a stencil directly onto white cardstock. So we're gonna get that sort of white, nice patterned background. Right, well, as you can see, I am still blending away here. And even though you might notice that it doesn't look super even in places, but once the colors dry and the paper settles, the colors will naturally even out. So even if you don't get a super, super smooth blend while you're actually blending, don't worry. You may have noticed that there was a little bit of a jump there, but the colors between the blue and the purple, did you see how that kind of smoothed it out? And that is because I've gone in and kept working with my brushes there. This panel itself, I actually sped up the drying a little bit by using my heat tool. And I use it on the lowest setting. I hardly ever use the high setting. It just, except for when I'm cold and I want to warm up a room. It's a bit of a strange hack, but it does work. So what I've done, as I said, I've used the heat tool to dry the panel because when you do ink blending, they do tend to get very, very wet. And when you do heat embossing, you want a very dry paper because otherwise your powder does stick, even if you use a anti-static tool. So there's the first one. And you will see soon I will be coming in with the heat gun. And I'm drying both from the top and from the bottom to really sort of get that drying process sped up. And when you're drying, make sure you move your tool around so you don't get the warping of the paper. Then I have gone in with my anti-static tool, and I like the baggy kind. I don't like the one with a little brush because you just keep going over and over and over again. And this stencil is also from Catherine Pooler. It's called Swoop, and it's got a really fun, like, sort of water splashy pattern. And I've gone in very heavily with my embossing pad to make sure that it's got a really, really good coverage. And then we're going to use opaque bright white. Surprise, surprise. It is my favorite embossing powder after all. And we're going to go in with a very, very heavy coat because we want this really, really well covered. And then we do the other half. And then we're going to tap off the excess and we're going to get the heat gun nice and hot, and then we are going to melt this. Yes, melt is the word I'm looking for. And here comes the magic. Ooh. Now you can of course do it the other way around, so you do your heat embossing first and then you ink blend over. But I do think that even when you clean up the embossed pattern after you've done ink and blending, it still isn't quite as crisp white. So I like doing it this way. And then we're going to do another one. So this is my yin to my yang. And I skipped over the ink blending because I'm guessing you kind of get the gist of that for now. And to finish off, I have cut out this Thinking of You Hero Arts die cut 4 times out of black cardstock. Actually, I did it 8 times because I'm having 2 sentiments. And then we're just layering these up so it's nice, thick and sturdy. And then this we are going to cover in clear embossing powder to make it super, super shiny and pop. It's gonna pop, really, really pop. So put your die on top of something and then dab, 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 like really go in heavy, like, because you want this super, super covered. And then, I mean, look at that. I kind of wish you could leave it like that because it kind of looks like a sprinkled donut, doesn't it? Oof. And with my trusted corkboard and my pointy tweezers, which I've secured my die so I don't have to burn my fingers, we're going to melt this powder and then we're going to do the same thing again. But just look at that. Doesn't that look, I mean, it looks pretty good like that already. And I thought to myself, oh, do I really need to do like a second layer? But I did. You are going to want to let it cool down a little bit first though, because otherwise it just kind of goes to pot. But although I didn't show the second one, we are going to start assembling the cards, and you can see like the shininess. It really does pop. So that clear embossing powder, this is my favorite technique over adding glossy accent, because you can just use your die cut right away. And with that, I am all done. But don't forget to check in on the Catherine Pooler and Hedgehog Hollow blogs for the full lineup. And also, there is prizes to win, including from Wow Embossing. There's a £30 and $30 gift voucher to the shop. So don't forget to leave comments, because you will win if you participate. So thanks again so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Now get hopping, and we'll see you soon again.